Greetings, YouTube. The Doctor is in. Dr. Urius Papers here, coming at you with another commentary on Dungeons and Dragons. And today we're going to talk about the 2024 version of the spell Magic Weapon. There were some pretty significant changes that happened to this spell. Not a lot to unpack, but there is a lot to unpack. So we are going to talk about this compared to the Legacy version, what those changes are. We are also going to talk about how it interacts with the 2024 changes in the classes as well. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a question or comment, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. All right, here is the Legacy version of Magic Weapon. Back in the day when I originally graded this spell, we gave it a grade of a C-. I did not like this spell. The big thing I really didn't like about this spell was it has concentration. So I didn't feel that it should have been a second level spell. I felt it should have been a first level spell. So by the time you can cast this, your players are going to be third level. So some may have a +1 weapon, some may not. That just depends on your DM and what level of game you're playing. You could always upcast this spell, so you touch a non-magical weapon. It has to be non-magical. Until the spell ends, the weapon becomes a magic weapon with a +1 bonus to attack and damage rolls. You can upcast this, so when you cast this at 4th level, it became +2. When you cast this at 6th level, it became +3. So you can cast 4th level spells generally with full casters at 7th level. There may be a +2 weapon in the party around there, maybe, but almost everybody that is fighting melee style should have a +1 weapon at that point. And then with the 6th level option, you can be minimum level around 11th level to cast that. Everybody should have +2. There might be some +3s, maybe. It just depends. But the big thing is that it is concentration. So it takes up that concentration slot. If you're casting this at 6th level and you had to concentrate on this, that was a no-go. There were a lot better 6th level spells that some of these Paladin, Wizard, War Domain Cleric, Arcana Domain Cleric, Forge Domain Cleric, Artificer, Oath of Glory Paladin could cast. Well, the Paladins can't cast any 6th level spells, but the other ones can, and there were better spells that they could concentrate on than this one, because you can only concentrate on one spell. So that was a big deal, and that was one of the reasons why I gave it a C-. So we're going to move the arrow over here. And now we're going to look at the changes that happened. Still a 2nd level spell. It is no longer an it's still a bonus action. I'm sorry. Still a bonus action. It's range of touch, verbal, and somatic. Still lasts for an hour. It is not concentration anymore. That is a super, super significant quality of life improvement to this spell. It is, and there's one other one big one, and it's who can cast it. It is Paladins and Rangers, no Ranger here, Sorcerers, no Sorcerers here in the Legacy one. That's a big deal. That's a big deal. A Sorcerer can now cast, and we're going to talk about that and why that is. But that's a big deal. Wizards, okay. Arcana Domain Clerics, yes. We're going to talk about those a little bit. Forge Domain Clerics, yes. Artificer still. War Domain, Oath of Glory Paladin. So they added Rangers. They added Sorcerers. That's a big, big deal for Sorcerers. It's okay for Rangers, but because of some of the things the Sorcerer can do, and you guys all know that the Sorcerer is my favorite out of the 2024, that's a big deal. So it still starts out at +1. It still has to be a non-magical weapon. It increases to a +2 with a level 3 to 5 spell slot, and then a +3 with a 6+ spell slot. So it still kind of follows those, but the big difference is I'm no longer concentrating on it. So if you need that bludgeoning weapon, it's usually the bludgeoning weapon that you need, and somebody doesn't have one in your party, or someone doesn't have a magical one, their primary weapon is a slashing or piercing weapon that is magical, and that's the one they always use, but they have like a mace or a maul or something or a flail, but it isn't magical. And you need a magical one because there's a creature that has resistance to everything but bludgeoning damage, and it also has resistance to non-magical damage, then this is a great spell to have, and you don't have to concentrate on it, and it lasts for an hour. So you can cast this outside of combat pretty easily. Okay, so let's go through my 4 points that I use to critique these to see what grade I'm going to give them. So can I use this spell every combat? Yes. It's easy to use. It is a bonus action with no concentration. The Legacy version, not easy to use because of the concentration. It was a bonus action, but I had to concentrate on it, which stopped me from casting other spells of those spell slots. Or stopped me from casting spells that were concentration. So, because I was busy concentrating on this spell. No longer concentration. So, very easy to use. Would I cast this? Yes. Absolutely. I would look at everybody and say, who needs a magic weapon? Let's go. And then I would plunk that down. Will I use the spell every combat? Is it useful? Is it easy to use? And is it useful? Yes. It's extremely useful for the reasons that I just gave. Impact upon my character? Probably not an impact upon my build. For some of these classes, for others, probably a lot. Maybe for the Paladin and the Ranger, it might help a little bit in case they find something. For the War Domain or Forge Domain Clerics, if you're making like the War Priest type, then yes, it probably is going to have some kind of effect on your character build. Does it have an impact on the adventuring party? I would say yes, but not a massive impact. People should be running around at some of these levels with magic weapons that have bonuses equivalent to this or higher. So it can be pulled out in an emergency. So this is going to go from a C- to a solid B now because of the lack of concentration. So let's talk about some of these subdomains that clerics can use. So we've got the Arcana Domain Cleric who can use this. They get this at 3rd level. They don't have to prepare this spell, that's another great thing. It will take up a slot. And then they have their Arcane Abjuration. They have their Spellbreaker. So this is a pretty good, this kind of goes with the flavor of this particular class. It just goes with the flavor. War Domain, again, it goes with the flavor of the class. The War Domain Cleric gets it at 3rd level, so they don't have to prepare it. They automatically get it. They could cast it on one of their spells. They could cast it on somebody else's. They could cast it on one of their weapons, and they could cast it on somebody else's weapon. So, they still got the Guided Strike, which is a channeled divinity. They've got the War Priest as a bonus action. You can make one attack with a weapon attack. And then you can use this a number of times equal to your Wisdom modifier. You can expend a use of Channel Divinity to cast this. This magic weapon goes with the flavor of this. The Paladin class, the Oath of Glory, they also get it at 5th level because they're half casters. It's automatically prepared. Kind of goes along with some of their stuff. It's more of a support. Now, the big one is the Sorcerer, and they added the Sorcerer on here from the Legacy version. So the Legacy version didn't have Sorcerers. The new 2024 version does have Sorcerers, and the reason of that is because of Extend Spell. So a Sorcerer could cast this spell. They have to prepare it, then they cast it, and then they cast it extended. So they use a point. Now, there are some resources that get put in there, but if you need that weapon for 2 hours, then you get to cast it for 2 hours because of that, because you doubled the duration. So you can spend 1 sorcery point to double its duration to a maximum of 24 hours. If the affected spell requires concentration, you have advantage on any saving throws you make, but this one doesn't anymore, so we don't have to worry about that. Awesome spell. You could even, this is a touch range spell, so a sorcerer could even cast this at a distance. Empower spell, careful spell, that really doesn't do anything. Heightened, quicken doesn't really do anything because it's a bonus action. Subtle, maybe. Twin doesn't really do anything because it doesn't add targets. But this one, extended, really, really makes it well worth it for a sorcerer in case the party is short on magic weapons or they need a particular kind of magic weapon, then you can pull this out. And if you're playing in a game where there really aren't any +3 weapons except for, you very rarely find them, then, you could have this spell out and there will be a +3 weapon just about every time. All right, that is what I have for everybody today. I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I will catch everybody